I have to keep me moving.
The engine died without warning. 1 second the dashboard glowed with quiet luxury. The next, every light flickered out. Silence swallowed the road. Outside, the blizzard roared like it had been waiting. Elena Ward gripped the steering wheel of her stalled SUV and pressed the ignition again. Nothing. Come on. Come on, she muttered, pressing harder, as if force could command obedience. The wind slammed against the vehicle. Snow swallowed the windshield in seconds. Her signal bars vanished. No driver, no assistant, no security convoy, just her, a billionaire who controlled entire markets, trapped by weather. She reached for her phone again. No signal. Her breath began to fog the air. The heater had stopped. She looked around. Endless white. No town lights. No passing cars. For the first time in years, she felt small. Headlights suddenly pierced the storm behind her. She turned sharply. A rusty pickup truck approached slowly, tires fighting the snow. It stopped several feet away. The driver stepped out. Broad shoulders. Thick coat. Calm stride. He tapped lightly on her window. She hesitated, then lowered it slightly. "You'll freeze in there," the man said, voice steady over the wind. "Engine's dead." "Yes. I called roadside assistance, but—" "No signal out here," he said. "My cabin's half a mile back. Fire's going. You can wait the storm out." She studied him. Rough hands. Snow on his boots. Honest eyes that didn't look impressed. "Do you know who I am?" she asked without thinking. He held her gaze. "Yes." The word lingered. She stepped out anyway. The wind hit her like a wall. He took her bag without asking and led the way through the snow. Inside his cabin, warmth wrapped around her instantly. The fire cracked. The room smelled of wood and something simple, something real. "Sit," he said. "You're shaking." "I'm fine." "You're not." She sat. He poured her tea. She watched him move around the cabin, steady and quiet. "You live out here alone?" she asked. "Yes." "No family?" A pause. "Not anymore." She didn't press. Minutes passed in silence before she broke it. "This is inconvenient timing," she said, staring into the fire. "I have a board meeting tomorrow. A major expansion decision." He added wood to the flames. "What kind of expansion?" "Tech infrastructure. Restructuring a few outdated facilities." He glanced at her. "Closing some down?" "If necessary," she replied calmly. "Efficiency matters." "Efficiency," he repeated. She noticed his tone. "You disapprove?" "I don't know the numbers," he said. She gave a faint smile. "That's the point. Most people don't." He sat across from her. "What if the numbers are families?" She leaned back slightly. "Business isn't personal." "It always is," he replied. Silence again. Snow battered the windows harder. She checked her phone out of habit. Still nothing. "I've saved thousands of jobs," she said defensively. "You don't build what I built without making hard choices." "And the ones you couldn't save?" She exhaled slowly. "You can't save everyone." He nodded once, as if he expected that answer. "Years ago," he said carefully, "a factory closed in this town." She didn't react at first. "Lots of factories close," she said. "This one fed the whole valley." She looked at him now. "What company?" He held her gaze. "Ward Technologies." The fire popped loudly. She straightened. That was part of a strategic consolidation. Is that what it was? It was necessary. For who? She felt irritation rise. "You think I enjoy shutting down facilities? You think I don't analyze every outcome?" He stood slowly and walked to a small drawer near the wall. He pulled out an envelope. Worn. Yellowed. He held it in his hand, but didn't offer it yet. "After that closure," he said quietly, "someone wrote to the CEO. She didn't speak. Explained what the shutdown would do. Asked for reconsideration. And he received a reply." She blinked. "From my office?" "Yes." "And?" He looked at the envelope. It arrived the same day his wife passed away. The words landed heavier than the storm outside. "She worked at that factory," he continued. 20 years. When it closed, she lost more than a paycheck." Elena's throat tightened slightly. He placed the envelope on the table between them. "It's never been opened." Her voice softened. "Why?" "Because grief doesn't read explanations." The room felt smaller. "You're telling me this why?" "Because you asked if business is personal." The fire crackled. She stared at the envelope. "You could have sued," she said. "With what money?" "You could have protested." "We did. And no one came." The wind howled louder, shaking the cabin walls. She folded her hands tightly. If there was wrongdoing, I would have addressed it. He studied her face carefully. Would you? Yes. A long pause. Then maybe, he said quietly, you should read it. Her chest tightened. He pushed the envelope slightly closer. She hesitated before picking it up. The paper felt fragile. She looked at him. What's your name? Daniel. Daniel, why help me? He didn't look away. Because freezing you wouldn't bring anyone back. The honesty in his voice unsettled her more than anger would have. She slid her finger under the seal. Stopped. Looked at him again. If what's in here proves negligence, it won't bring her back, he repeated. The tension in the room thickened. Outside, the storm intensified. Inside, something else was building. Before she opened the letter, Daniel spoke again. Before you read it, answer something. What? When you signed that closure order, did you think of the town? She didn't answer immediately. I thought of sustainability, she said finally. He nodded slowly. That's what I thought. If this moment is pulling you in, pause for a second and hit that like button. Stories like this deserve to be shared. And subscribe, because what happens next changes everything. She unfolded the letter carefully. Her eyes scanned the page, and her expression shifted. Silence fell heavy between them. What is it? Daniel asked. Her voice dropped to almost a whisper. This isn't a rejection. He frowned slightly. It's an approval. He leaned forward. What? I approved a relief fund, she said, eyes moving faster now. Emergency transition support, retraining grants, community redevelopment financing. Daniel stared at her. That never happened. She kept reading. I authorized $10 million. The number hung in the air. Daniel's jaw tightened. No one in this town saw a cent. Her heart began to race. This says it was executed through regional management. His voice sharpened. Executed. She looked up at him, shaken. It means it was delegated. Delegated to who? Her mind was already racing ahead. Names. Executives. Oversight reports. This was signed, she whispered. Daniel stood slowly. So someone took it. She looked back at the letter. There would be records. There were records, he said. We were told there was nothing approved. The fire crackled louder as if echoing the tension. Her breath became uneven. If that money disappeared, it destroyed more than jobs, Daniel said firmly. She looked at him again, and this time, there was no defense in her eyes. Only realization. The storm outside raged harder. But inside the cabin, a different kind of storm had just begun. The fire snapped. Daniel did not sit back down. He stood there, staring at her like he was trying to decide something. You signed it, he said. Yes. And $10 million vanished. Her fingers tightened around the letter. There are compliance systems, she said quietly. Audits. Oversight. I would have been notified. You weren't. The words were not accusatory. They were worse. They were factual. She stood slowly. Who handled regional operations here? She murmured, almost to herself. Daniel's jaw flexed. You tell me. Her mind moved fast now. Faster than the storm outside. Names surfaced. Reports. Approvals. She pulled out her phone again. Instinct. Habit. Power reflex. Still no signal. For the first time in years, she hated being disconnected. After the closure, Daniel said, voice firmer now, my wife waited. Elena looked up. She believed help would come, he continued. She said, they won't leave us like this. The fire cracked again. She trusted your name. The words pierced deeper than accusation. Elena swallowed. What was her name? She asked. Daniel hesitated. Clara. The name settled into the room like a presence. She kept her uniform hanging by the door for weeks, he said, in case they called her back. Elena felt something shift inside her. That relief fund, she whispered. It was supposed to prevent that. It didn't. The storm slammed harder against the cabin walls. Daniel stepped closer. Do you know what it's like, he said, his voice finally rising, to watch someone lose hope in slow motion? She didn't answer. Do you know what it's like to sit beside someone who feels forgotten? Her composure began to crack. I didn't know, she said. You signed it. I delegated it. And forgot it. Silence. That one hurt. She opened her mouth. Closed it. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't attacking. He was stating reality. She looked back down at the letter. I remember this, she said suddenly. Daniel's eyes narrowed slightly. There was resistance, she continued. Regional management pushed back. They said the fund was excessive. And I overruled them. Clearly not. Her breath trembled. No. I did. She scanned the signature line again. Her own handwriting stared back at her. Someone buried this, she whispered. Daniel gave a small, bitter nod. Someone always does. The firelight flickered across her face. Power, influence, authority, all meaningless in this moment. She looked at him. Why didn't you open it earlier? His answer came without delay. Because hope is dangerous when you're already breaking. The words hung in the air. Then he added quietly, and because I didn't want to read something that said we didn't matter. Her throat tightened. You mattered, she said. We didn't feel like it. Another silence. Heavy. Real. Then something changed. Her posture shifted. Her eyes sharpened. The billionaire re-emerged, but different now. Not defensive. Focused. If that money was intercepted, she said calmly, someone committed fraud. Daniel crossed his arms. And I don't tolerate theft. A flicker of something passed through his expression. Skepticism. Tomorrow, she continued, there will be an internal forensic review. There were reviews before. This time I'll be looking. And you weren't before? She met his gaze fully. No. Honesty again. The storm began to weaken slightly. The wind softened. Daniel studied her face. Why should I believe you? She stepped closer to him. Because this is personal now. He almost laughed. Now it is. Yes. The word came without hesitation. He shook his head slowly. You built an empire on numbers. And I forgot what they stood for. That admission landed between them like truth finally spoken. Minutes passed. Neither spoke. The fire burned lower. Snow drifted softer against the windows. Then headlights appeared through the cracks in the wood. Rescue vehicles. Daniel looked toward the door. They found you. She didn't move immediately. Instead, she looked at him one more time. What do you want? She asked quietly. The question was simple. The weight behind it was not. He didn't answer right away. Then, I don't want charity. You won't get it. I don't want a press conference. There won't be one. I don't want my wife's name used for your reputation. It won't be. She waited. He stepped closer. I want the truth exposed. You'll have it. I want accountability. You'll have it. And I want this town rebuilt properly. She nodded once. Then it will be. The rescue team knocked loudly. Elena Ward. Her world was calling her back. She walked toward the door. Stopped. Turned. Daniel. He met her eyes. I am sorry. The apology was not polished. Not corporate. Not rehearsed. Just human. He gave a small nod. Do better, he said. She stepped out into the cold. The storm had almost cleared. Morning light broke through heavy clouds. As the rescue team surrounded her, she didn't look powerful. She looked changed. Daniel watched from the doorway as the convoy disappeared down the snow-covered road. The cabin grew quiet again. Days passed, then weeks. In the city, Elena moved like a storm of her own. Internal audits, emergency board sessions, private investigations. The deeper she looked, the darker it became. Regional executives had redirected the funds. Shell contracts, hidden transfers, bribes. The relief fund had never stood a chance. And she had never followed up. The scandal exploded quietly first. Then publicly, executives resigned. Charges were filed. Assets frozen. But she didn't stop there. She flew back to the valley. No press. No cameras. Just her. Daniel was repairing a fence when he saw the car. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. He simply waited. She approached slowly. It's done, she said. Is it? The people responsible are facing prosecution. And the town. She handed him a folder. Not a donation, she said. An investment plan. Worker-owned shares. Retraining centers. Infrastructure. Oversight committees from this community. He didn't take it immediately. You're serious? Yes. He finally accepted the folder. You could have ignored this, he said. I almost did. Honesty again. He looked out across the valley. Snow melting now. Ground visible beneath. You know, he said quietly. Clara used to say storms don't last forever. Elena nodded slowly. But damage can, he added. Then we repair it, she replied. A long pause. Not awkward. Not tense. Just real. Before she left, he spoke one last time. You remembered us. She looked at him. No, she said softly. You made me remember. If this story moved you even a little, take a second right now. Like the video. Comment your thoughts below. And subscribe for more powerful stories that stay with you long after they end. Because sometimes, it takes a storm to expose what was buried. And sometimes, the coldest night reveals the warmest truth. Elena returned to her car. The valley no longer felt forgotten, and Daniel stood in the quiet air, watching the snow melt. The billionaire, who once froze a town, had finally learned how to thaw it.